Today is autumn equinox and it is the 21st of March and it indicates the turn of another season. So in the southern hemisphere, we are smack bang in the middle of autumn, and from here on forward, our temperatures will start to slow down, the days will get shorter and the nights will get longer. And to document this whole process of seasonal change, I'm going to take you through a little journey of this first quarter of this year and what I got up to as my new garden started growing. Now, as you can see, the final result is a completed phenology wheel. And what a phenology wheel is a way for you to track something, to document it, to visualize it, and to also bring a concept together. So it's basically a record of a specific subject over a period of time that you track and monitor. And the way we do it here is in a creative way where we use pencil drawing, then inking, and then watercolor over that. So I've done about that first week of the flowers I've planted in my new garden bed. So what I've decided to do was, instead of buying everything and completing the entire garden, I was going to buy a certain set of flowers or plants and put them in the ground week by week, thereby having a cycle of new things. And I also get to see how they all work together, so I can move them, I can replant them, I could get more of the ones I really like and build on that over the period of January, so that I have all the plants that I really want, but mindfully put together. So tracking this gives me an opportunity to buy 4 plants a week and bring them into that space. Now I'll go over this video a little bit later again, where we continue the wheel into week 2, 3, and 4. Now the garden is starting to look really beautiful. We've got one side of the irrigation done. As you can see, the plants are beginning to settle in nicely. They've found a little place where they could put their roots down. And much like all our ideas, they do all start out fairly roughly, and then we get to build on them so that they can also grow and become the end results. And what you're seeing here in the middle is just a little experiment. We found these at from neighbors of ours, and they wanted to throw it away, so we decided to take it and pack it as crazy paving and then see how it will all pan out. We can always change it, we can always get rid of it, we can always do something else. But for now, that is a really nice way to not get mud on my feet. It's well worth noting that as time progressed and a new month started, we invested more funds into creating this little corner on the left-hand side of this long strip. In it, I planted plants we already had in the garden and 1 punnet of vincas, and we also bought 3 new larger potting plants. And those all landed up in this corner, and I'll monitor them as time goes by to see how they do in this shaded area. So what we also planted in week 2 were the white petunias and that beautiful, beautiful yellow rose. Now that is a fragrance rose that I just love. And in the next spot, you'll see there are pink flowers, and I'd probably lie if I told you the name off the top of my head. I'll have to have another look at that, or wait for the name to pop up as I'm writing it. Which of course I wouldn't do, as I think in that moment I also forgot the name. The next yellow one is similar to little petunias, but they grow in a large cluster, and they are very, very, very small. This next plant I ended up giving to a friend because there was no place in the garden for it just yet. And the last one was something I remember from childhood, and we used to call it Joseph's cloak, or Joseph's coat. And it is a shade-loving plant, but I'm getting it as a young plant, and I'm going to put it in this basket that I got with other petunias, pink petunias, and again those little petunias, and then making sure I just keep an eye on it so that it doesn't dry out too much. What do you say, Husky? Inspector Husky is always just 1 or 2 steps behind me, looking at what's going on. Anyway, we both enjoy the morning sun coming through here, and the smell of the plants, and the little bit of sunshine we get to enjoy before the rest of the day starts calling. I don't know if you've noticed, but the sun is definitely shifting over the horizon as we are entering this autumn equinox, and the days just feel lazier, and it feels like I want to sleep in the morning, and it also feels like I want to go to bed much earlier. So be sure to tell me what autumn does to you if you live in the southern hemisphere. Not so long ago, I also found this beautiful fern, and it's been growing like crazy. I have not put any fertilizer in it. I've literally just, if I remembered, to put some water in it once or twice a week. But it also seems to love this beautiful sunny spot in the mornings. I'll take you to the garden to show you how each of these little plants we put in has grown in the last couple of weeks, 2 or 3 weeks now. And they are just looking gorgeous. This is straight after the morning watering session, and everything is looking fresh and dewy. And yep, here she comes. Smelling and licking and investigating all the things I am looking at. Now the garden is definitely looking so good. The progress has been amazing. Everything is flowering and blossoming and coming to its own and showing me how beautiful they are. It's really lovely to see and notice the growth, knowing that there are many seasons of growth still to come. So I wanted to capture this moment, enjoy the small bits of progress we've made so far. And it's wonderful how even a week or 2 ago, this very same spot looked completely different. We'll continue to put in all the things we need and continue to look at how this spot changes and transforms, and look back on the work we've done, knowing that it was all worth it. And that now we have a new view to look out at from the kitchen window as the beautiful plants we planted are showing us how glorious they are. It's time to finalize this first term's phonology wheel. And as I color in the background of each of them to indicate what feeling I had or what color I feel matched that plant, think about how you are going to complete your phonology wheel. How are you going to bring in colors? How many colors are you going to choose? What are you going to resemble? And as I notice the new growth and the way nature is making little homes for itself, like this spider web that appeared here overnight, I was completely mesmerized by that. Mindfully absorbed in that moment as I couldn't stop looking at all the growth that has happened. Every single thing in this garden has grown because I started. And that's so many times part of the problem, is that we have hundreds of ideas. We have things we want to do, and we just never start. And today I want to encourage you to just make a start. Don't worry about the things that could go wrong, or the things that might hinder you from progress, or the things that might not even work out the way you wanted them to. But if you start, I can promise you that time will go by, the seasons will change, but you will have something to show for your efforts. And when you have something to show for your efforts, you will feel so much more connected to what you want, and so much more fulfilled. You will see more beautiful things come to life around you, and you will notice how life itself shows you how to go about doing the next thing, getting to the next phase of life, and go through the seasons exactly the way they were meant for you. So don't forget to start with a little plan, figure out how you're going to put everything together, and then make measurements. Decide what you are going to do, and then take note of what it looked like before you started, so that by the time you look at it again, you see something completely new came to life because of your efforts. May you have a beautiful autumn equinox, and remind yourself that there are still 3 terms left of this year where anything is possible, as long as you start.